Ladies and gentlemen, it is with the greatest pleasure and most heartfelt cordiality that we welcome you this evening to Maryvale Preparatory School's distinguished production of The Importance of Being Earnest. It is of the utmost importance, nay, a matter of social necessity, that all mobile devices be turned off immediately. A ringing telephone during a performance is simply not the thing.
Mamma, a cellular indiscretion would undoubtedly be the faux pas of the season, but I dare say our audience is most refined and would never commit such a vulgar breach of etiquette.
One would hope, Gwendolen. However, experience has taught me that hope is a delusion of the lower classes.
This production is set to run 2 hours with the most dignified 10-minute intermission. Also, you are most cordially invited to draw near to the stage, should you so desire, so that you might be able to enjoy the evening's entertainment with utmost clarity.
And please take note of the nearby exits in case of an emergency, spontaneous combustion, or otherwise. But do be discreet. A gentleman never bursts forth unexpectedly, and a lady never scurries.
Precisely. Now, let the performance commence. And remember, being earnest is important, but being silent during the show is absolutely essential.
Welcome to The Importance of Being Earnest. I am just delighted that you've all gathered here for my Oscar. I'm Jane Wilde, Speranza they called me once, a woman of letters, a voice of Ireland, a warrior of words. An Oscar I planted a seed that flourished into something luminous, something wild and uncontainable, something immortal.
He is left there in tragedy, arrogance and tenderness, a man of velvet coat and diamond wit. They flock to hear his lectures, poetry, and plays, to be scorched by his brilliance.
Laughter is a dangerous thing, and when one laughs too loudly, one forgets who holds the power. Power does not like to be mocked.
But no matter, Oscar's words will endure, to outlive the pettiness of men and the judgments of small minds.
So, my dear guests, we dedicate this performance to Oscar, who, even as we speak, is teaching the world how to love, and in doing so, how to see. Now, we need to get on with this play, but one thing that was certainly very important to dear Oscar was style. So let us first commence a lecture on Victorian style, and who better to speak on the subject than the Queen herself?
Rise for your queen!
When I ascended the throne, the world still clung to the frivolities of Regency excess. But now we make more dignified and moral choices, emphasizing the quiet grace in woman, her steadfast purposes. The gowns of my youth wore tight bodices and wide, crinoline skirts swept many parlors and ballrooms. But now it is all about discipline, restraint, and purity of character. It is the very essence of maid shaped by duty and devotion.
And let us not forget the rules, Your Majesty, the countless rules that governed our attire.
I think perhaps too many rules.
Is Chloe Thomas here? She wants to come up. I know she does. She told me. I know you sent in a special request. Oh, darling.
A lady must never step out in daylight after dusk, nor wear jewels before dinner unless you were in mourning.
Gloves were not just an accessory, but a necessity, shielding delicate hands from both the sun and unwanted familiarity.
A woman's hemline whispered of her character. To reveal the ankle was scandalous and a disgrace.
The hair should be neat, tidy, and respectable. The nails trim and clean. Not that. Men too have their rules, but their fashion like the splendor of ours. Even no writing done.
Your Majesty! Thank you for inviting me to this most important lecture. Listen carefully all. First, the coat. No gentleman ever be seen without one. The frock coat, stiff, dignified, worn throughout the day. And for evening affairs, the tailcoat. Cut sharply at the waist, and paired with a crisp white cravat or a black bow tie. A gentleman must never be careless with his dress, lest he risk being mistaken for one of lesser breeding.
His waistcoat must be tailored to perfection.
gentleman of ghoul breeding would dare step outside without one. The top hat, a tower of dignity, a beacon of status. Why, a hat is no mere accessory. A hat is a decoration. And a man without a hat is half-dressed. He's incomplete. He's lacking in stature.
A man must never wear gloves indoors lest he appear inattentive. He must never remove his jacket in public, nor loosen his cravat or bow tie in haste. Even the beard, yes, the beard must be worn with attention, fuller than the old and more dignified gentleman. Need to be true size as good for the younger gentleman. A bad face, acceptable, but only for those who possess a strong enough arm to carry it.
You see, just as a lady's gown signals her virtue, a man's attire reflects his character. A man dressed in haste with his collar crooked and his boots dull is not merely unkempt, but he is entirely undisciplined, unfit, and unreliable in society.
But our fashion bends with time. I have seen the Angoras rise and fall, the tapered shoulders, the cravats narrow. I wonder, shall future men discard their waistcoat entirely, abandon their hats, walk about without a dignity or a well-fitted coat? Perhaps someday we'll men will show up in jeans and a t-shirt.
I shudder to think, but as long as I reign, let them dress as they should, neat, noble, and ever befitting the empire. For we are Victorian, bound by tradition, draped in dignity, and stitched into history itself. Yes, sir.
And speaking of the science for life, did you get those cucumber sandwiches that I prepared for Lady Ravenel?
Yes, sir.
And by the way, May, the other night we were dining with Lord Sean and Mr. Worthing. 8 bottles of champagne are entered as being consumed.
Yes, sir. 8 bottles and a pint.
Why is it that at a bachelor's establishment the servants invariably drink the champagne? I ask merely for information.
I attribute it to the superior quality of the wine, sir. I've often observed that in married households, the champagne is rarely of first-rate brand.
Good heavens, marriage so demoralizing as that?
I believe it is a very pleasant state, sir. I very little experience of it myself up to the present. I've only been married once, and, well, that was in consequence of a misunderstanding between myself and a young person.
I am not quite sure I'm interested in your family life, Lane.
No, sir. It is not a very interesting subject. I never think of it myself.
That was you, Lane. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Lane's views on marriage are somewhat lax. You see, if the lower orders don't set a good example, what really is the purpose of them? They seem as a class to have no sense of moral responsibility.
Mr. Earnest Worthing!
Mr. Ernest Worthing! What's brought you up to this part of town?
Oh, pleasure, pleasure. What else should bring me anywhere? Eating as usual, I see, Algie.
I believe it is customary in good society to take some slight refreshment at 5 o'clock. Where
have you been since last Thursday?
In the country.
What on earth do you do there?
When one is in town, one amuses oneself. When one is in the country, one amuses other people. It's excessively boring.
And who are these people you amuse?
Oh, neighbours.
Oh, what neighbours near Polish Shropshire?
Perfectly horrid. I would speak to one of them.
How immensely you must amuse them. By the way, Shropshire's in your county, is it not?
Shropshire, yes, of course. Hello, why all these cups? Why cucumber sandwiches? Why such reckless extravagance at one so young? Who is coming to tea?
Oh, merely Aunt Augusta and Gwendolyn.
How perfectly delightful.
I'm afraid to say that Aunt Augusta will not approve of you being here.
May I ask why?
My dear fellow, the way that you flirt with Gwendolyn is perfectly disgraceful. Which is just as bad as the way that Gwendolyn flirts with you.
I'm in love with Gwendolyn. I've come to town to propose to her.
I thought you came for pleasure. I consider that business.
How actually unromantic you are.
I believe it is very romantic to be in love, but I do not see anything romantic about a definite proposal. When one is accepted, one usually is, all the romance is all over. The very essence of romance is uncertainty. If I ever get married, I will try to forget that fact.
I don't doubt that, my dear Algie. The divorce court was specially invented for those whose marriages are so curiously constituted.
Oh, divorces are merely made in heaven. Please! Don't touch those cucumber sandwiches. They are made especially for Aunt Augusta.
Well, you have been eating them all the time.
That makes no matter. She is my aunt. Have some bread and butter. The bread and butter is for Gwendolyn. Gwendolyn is devoted to bread and butter.
And very good bread and butter is too.
My dear fellow, you eat as if you haven't eaten at all. You act as if you were already married, which I don't think you will ever be.
Why on earth do you say that?
My dear fellow, girls never marry the men they flirt with. They don't think it is right.
Oh, that is nonsense.
It isn't nonsense. It comes to the extraordinary number of bachelors one sees all over the place. And in the second place, I don't give my consent.
Your consent?
My dear fellow, Gwendolyn is my cousin, and before I allow you to marry her, you must clear up the whole question of Cecily.
Cecily? What on earth, Algie, do you mean by Cecily? I don't know anyone named Cecily.
Jane, can you please bring me that cigarette case that Mr. Worthing left in the smoking room the last time he dined here?
Yes, sir!
Do you mean to tell me you've had my cigarette case all this time? I wish to goodness you would let me know. I've written frantic letters to Scotland Yard about it. I was nearly offering a large reward.
I wish you would. I was being more than usually hard up.
There's no good offering a large reward now that the thing is found.
It makes no matter now, for now that I look at the inscription inside and see that this isn't your cigarette case after all.
Of course it's mine. You've seen it with me 100 times, and you have no right whatsoever to read what is written inside. It's very ungentlemanly to read a private cigarette case.
So it is absurd to have a hard and fast rule about what one should read and what one shouldn't. Half of modern culture is based off of what one shouldn't read.
I'm quite aware of the fact that I don't propose to discuss modern culture with you. It's not something one talks in private. I simply want my cigarette case back.
Yes, but this isn't your cigarette case. This cigarette case belongs to somebody of the name of Cecily, and you said you didn't know anybody of that name.
Well, you must know Cecily happens to be my aunt.
Your aunt?
Yes, charming old lady she is too. Lives at Tunbridge Wells. Just go back to me, Algie.
Yes, but why does she call herself Little Cecily if she lives at Tunbridge Wells? From Little Cecily with the fondest love.
My dear fellow, what on earth is there in that? Some aunts are tall and some aunts are not tall. That is a matter that surely an aunt may be allowed to decide for herself.
Yes, but why does she call you her dear uncle? From Little Cecily with the fondest love to her dear Uncle Jack. There is no objection, I admit, to an aunt being a small aunt, but an aunt, no matter her size may be, should call her own nephew her uncle. Besides, your name isn't Jack, it is Ernest.
It isn't Earnest, it's Jack.
You have always told me it was Ernest. I have introduced you as Earnest. You answer to the name of Ernest. You look like your name would be Ernest. You're the most earnest-looking person I've ever seen in my whole life. It is perfectly absurd for you to say that your name isn't Ernest. It is on your cards. Mr. Ernest Worthing, B4 the Albany. I'm going to keep this as proof if you try to deny your name to me, to Gwendolyn, or to anybody else.
Well, when it was Ernest in town and Jack in the country, and that cigarette case was given to me in the country.
Yes, but that does not account for the fact that your small Aunt Cecily that lives at Tunbridge Wells calls you her dear Uncle Jack. You better have the thing out at once.
My dear father, you talk as if you were a dentist. It is very vulgar for one to talk as if they were a dentist when one isn't a dentist. It produces a false impression.
And that is exactly what they do. Now go on, I have always thought you to be a secret and confirmed Bunburyist, but now I am sure of it.
Bunburyist? What on earth do you mean Bunburyist?
I'm going to reveal the meaning of that incomparable expression as soon enough as you are kind to tell me why you were Ernest in the town and Jack in the country.
Well, produce my cigarette case first.
Here it is. Now produce your explanation and pray make it improbable.
There's nothing improbable about my explanation at all. In fact, it's perfectly ordinary. Old Mr. Thomas Cardew adopted me when I was a little boy and made me his little guardian to his granddaughter, Miss Cecily Cardew. Cecily, who addressed me as uncle out of motives of respect that you cannot possibly appreciate, lives in my place in the country under charge of Admiral Governor Smith's prison.
Where's that place in the country, by the way?
Oh, there's no use here, dear boy. You are not going to be invited. I may tell you candidly that the place is not in Shropshire.
Ah, yes, Shropshire. I've bunburyed all over Shropshire on 2 separate occasions. Now go on. Why are you Ernest in the town and Jack in the country?
My dear Algy, I don't know whether you will be able to understand my real motives. You are hardly serious enough. When one is put in a position of guardian, one must adopt a very high moral tone on all subjects. It's one's duty to do so. So in order to come to town, I have pretended to have a younger brother of Earnest who lives in my place in Albany and gets into the most dreadful scrapes. That, my dear Algy, is the truth, pure and simple.
The truth is rarely pure and never simple. Modern life would be very tedious if it was, and modern literature a complete impossibility.
That would at all be a bad thing.
My dear fellow, literary criticism is not your forte. You should leave that up to the people that haven't been at the universities. They do it so well in the daily papers. What you really are is a bunburyist, one of the most advanced bunburyists I know.
What on earth do you mean?
You have invented a very useful younger brother named Earnest in order that you may be able to go up to the town whenever you would like. I have invented a valuable, impermanent invalid named Bunbury in order that I may be able to go down to the country whenever I please. If it wasn't for Bunbury's curiously bad health, I would not be able to dine with you tonight at Willis's, for I have been merely engaged to Aunt Augusta for more than a week.
I haven't asked you to dine anywhere with me tonight.
I know, you are absurdly careless about sending invitations. Nothing annoys people more than not receiving invitations.
You are much better to dine with your Aunt Augusta.
I haven't the smallest intention of doing anything purposeful. In the first place, you should know that I dined there on Monday, and once a week is perfectly enough to dine with one's own relations. In the second place, every time I do dine there, I'm either set down with no women at all, or 2. And in the third place, I know perfectly well who Aunt Augusta will place me next to. She will place me next to Maryvale, who flirts with her own husband from across the dinner table. It isn't pleasant, nor is it even decent, and it's an attitude that is much on the rise in London these days. It just looks so bad, and it's almost like cleaning one's own linen in public. Besides, now that I know you to be a secret and confirmed bunburyist, I want to teach you all about bunburying. I want to teach you the rules.
I'm not a bunburyist at all. If Gwendolyn accepts me, I'm going to kill my brother. Indeed, I'm going to kill him in any case. Cecily's a little too interested in him. He's rather a bore. So I'm going to get rid of Earnest. I strongly advise you do the same with with your invalid friend with your surname.
Nothing will induce me to part with Bunbury, and if you ever get married, which seems extremely problematic, you will get to know Bunbury very well. A man that marries without knowing Bunbury has a very tedious time of it. That must be Aunt Augusta and Gwendolyn. Only relatives of predators ever bring in that Wagnerian manner. Now, if I can get out of the room for 10 minutes, and you might have a chance of proposing to Gwendolyn, may I dine with you tonight at Willis's?
I suppose so, if you want to.
I hope you are serious about your invitation. I hate people that are not serious about meals. It is so shallow of them.
Lady Bracknell and Miss Fairfax!
Good afternoon, dear Algernon. I hope you are behaving.
I'm doing quite well, Aunt Augusta.
It's not quite the same thing. In fact, the two things rarely go together.
Dear me, you are smart! I am always smart. Aren't I, Mr. Worthing?
You're quite perfect, Miss Fairfax.
Oh, I hope I'm not that. It will leave no room for development. And I intend to develop in many directions.
I'm sorry if you're a bit late, Algernon, but I was obliged to call on dear Lady Harbury. I haven't been there since her poor husband's death. I never saw a woman so altered. She looks quite 20 years younger. Now, I'll have a cup of tea and one of those nice cucumber sandwiches that you promised me.
Certainly, Aunt Augusta.
Gwendolyn, here?
No, thank you, Mamma. I'm quite comfortable where I am.
Good heavens, Rain! Why are there no cucumber sandwiches?
There were no cucumbers in the market this morning, sir. I went out once.
No cucumbers?
No, sir, not even for ready money.
That will do, Lane. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Aunt Augusta, I'm greatly distressed about there being no cucumbers at the market. Not even for ready money.
It really makes no matter, Algernon. I had some conference with Lady Harvey this morning, who seems to me to be living entirely for pleasure now.
I hear her hair has turned quite gold from grief.
It certainly has changed its colour. By what cause I, of course, cannot say. Thank you, Algernon. I have quite a treat for you tonight. I am going to send you down with Mary Farquhar. She is such a nice woman and so attentive to her husband. It's delightful to watch them.
Well, Aunt Augusta, I'm afraid I'm going to have to give up the pleasure of dining with you tonight.
I should hope not, Algernon. It would put my table completely out of order. Your uncle would have to dine upstairs. Fortunately, he's accustomed to that.
Well, unfortunately, I've just received a telegram from my poor friend Bunbury, who has fallen ill, and believes that I should be with him.
It is very strange. This Mr. Bunbury seems to suffer from curiously bad health.
Heard Bunbury's dreadful invalid.
Well, I think it's high time that Mr. Bunbury made up his mind whether he was going to live or to die. This shilly-shallying with the question is absurd. Nor do I in any way approve of the modern sympathy with invalids. I find it morbid. Illness of any kind is hardly a thing to be encouraged in others. Health is the primary duty of life. I am always telling that to your poor uncle, but he never seems to take much notice, as far as any improvement in his ailments goes. I would be much obliged, Algernon, if you would ask Mr. Bunbury, from me, not to have a relapse on Saturday, for I rely on you to arrange my music for me. It is my last reception, and one wants something that will encourage conversation, particularly at the end of the season, when everyone has said practically whatever they had to say, which in most cases was probably not much.
Of course, Aunt Augusta, I will talk to poor Bunbury if he is still unconscious. He should be conscious by Saturday, but in regards to the program, the dilemma is, if one plays good music, people don't listen. But if one plays bad music, people don't talk. But I'll drop the program if you would like to follow me into the next room.
Thank you, Algernon. It is very thoughtful of you. I'm sure the program will be delightful after a few expurgations. French music I cannot possibly allow. It sounds so improper, and people always look shocked, which is vulgar, or laugh, which is worse. But German sounds a thoroughly respectful language, and I do believe is so. Gwendolyn, you will accompany me.
Certainly, Mamma.
Charming day has been, Miss Fairfax.
Pray, don't talk to me about the weather. Whenever one mentions to me the weather, I fear they might mean something else. And that makes me so nervous.
I do mean something else.
I thought so. In fact, I'm never wrong.
And I would like to take advantage of Lady Bracknell's temporary absence.
I'd certainly advise you do so. Mamma has a way of coming back suddenly into a room I've often had to speak to her about.
Miss Fairfax, ever since I met you, I've never loved anyone in the world but you.
Ah, well, I'm quite aware of the fact, and I wish that in public, at any rate, you'd been more demonstrative. With it, as I hope you know, Mr. Worthing, the age of ideals. The fact is often mentioned in the more expensive monthly magazines and has reached the provincial pulpits, I'm told. And my ideal has always been to love someone of the name Earnest. The name inspires absolute confidence. The moment Algernon first mentioned to me he had a friend called Earnest, I knew that I was destined to love you.
You really love me, Gwendolyn.
Passionately.
Oh, darling, you don't know how happy you've made me.
My own Earnest.
But you don't mean to say you couldn't love me if my name wasn't Ernest?
But your name is Earnest.
Yes, I know it is. But supposing it was something else, do you mean to say you couldn't love me then?
Well, that is very clearly a metaphysical speculation. And like most metaphysical speculations hold very little reference at all to the actual facts of real life as we know them.
Well, personally, darling, I don't like the name Ernest. I don't think it suits me at all.
It suits you. Perfect.
Those vibrations.
Well, really, Brendan, I think they're much nicer names. Jack, for instance, is a charming name.
Jack? Oh, no. No, there's very little music in the name Jack, if any at all indeed. It is not a pearl. It produces absolutely no vibrations. I've known several Jacks and they have been more than unusually plain. And besides, Jack is a notorious domesticity for John. And I pity any woman who is married to a man called John. She must not know the entrancing pleasure of a single moment's solitude. My safe name's Earnest.
I must get christened at once. I mean, we should get married at once. There's no time to be lost.
Married, Mr. Worthing?
Well, surely you know that I love you, and you led me to believe, Miss Fairfax, that you're not absolutely indifferent to me.
Oh, I adore you. But you haven't proposed to me yet. The subject has not even been touched on.
Well, may I propose to you now?
Oh, I think that will be an admirable opportunity. And to avoid any possible disappointment, I'd like to let you know that I'm more than determined to accept you.
Gwendolyn,
Yes, Mr. Worthing? What have you got to say to me?
you know what I've got to say to you.
Yes, but you won't say it.
Gwendolyn, will you marry me?
Of course I will, darling. How long you've been about it? I fear you have very little experience in how to propose.
I've never loved anyone in the world but you.
Sure, but men often propose to practice. I know my brother Gerald does. All my girlfriends tell me so. What beautiful blue eyes you have, Earnest. They are quite blue. I hope you look at me just like that, especially when I have other people present.
Mr. Worthing! Christ, sir, for the semi-recumbent posture. It is most indecorous.
Mama, I must beg you to retire. This is no pleasure. Besides, Mr. Worthing is not quite finished yet.
Finished what, may I ask?
I am engaged to be married to Mr. Worthing, Mama.
Pardon me, you are nothing of the kind. Engagement should come on a young girl as a surprise, pleasant or unpleasant as it may be. It is hardly enough she can be allowed to arrange for herself. And now I have some questions to put to you, Mr. Worthing. While I am making these inquiries, Gwendolyn, you will wait for me below the carriage.
But, Mama!
In the carriage, Gwendolyn! The carriage!
You may have a seat, Mr. Worthing.
Thank you, Lady Bracknell. I prefer standing.
I hope you are well aware that you are not down on my list of eligible young men, though I am the same list that dear Duchess of Bolton has. We work together, in fact. However, I am quite ready to enter your name, should your answers be what a readily affectionate mother requires. Do you smoke?
Well, yes, I must admit I smoke.
I'm glad to hear it. A man shows an occupation of some kind. There are far too many idle men in London as it is. What is your income?
Between 7,000 and 8,000 a year.
In land or investments?
In investments, chiefly.
That is satisfactory. What between the duties expected of one during one's lifetime and the duties exacted from one after one's death, land seems to be either a profit or a pleasure. It gives one position and prevents one from keeping it up. That is all that can be said about land.
I own a house in the country with some land, of course, attached to it, about 1,500 acres. But I don't depend on that for real income. As far as I can make out, the poachers are the only ones who can make anything of it.
A country house? How many bedrooms? Well, that point can be cleared up afterwards. You have a townhouse, I hope. A girl with simple, unspoiled nature like Gwendolyn could hardly be expected to reside in the country.
I own a house in Belgrave Square, but it is currently let by the year to Lady Bloxham. But I can get it back at any time I like at 6 months' notice.
Lady Bloxham? I don't know her.
Oh, she goes about very little. She's a lady considerably advanced in years.
Ah, nowadays there's no guarantee of respectability. What number of Belgrave Square?
149.
The unfashionable side. I thought there was something. Well, but that can easily be altered.
Do you mean the fashion on the side?
Both, if necessary, I presume. How old are you?
29.
Perfectly acceptable age to marry at. I have always been of the impression that a man who desires to get married should know either nothing or everything. Which do you know?
I know nothing, Lady Bracknell.
I'm pleased to hear it. I do not approve of anything that tampers with natural ignorance. Ignorance is like a delicate exotic fruit. Touch it, and the bloom is gone. The whole theory of modern education is radically unsound. Fortunately, in England, at any
inevitably lead to acts of violence in Grosvenor Square. But your politics?
I have them. I'm a liberal unionist.
Oh, they count as Tories. They dine with us. Or come in the evening at any rate. Now, on to more minor matters. Are your parents living?
I have lost both my parents.
To lose one parent, Mr. Worthing, may be regarded as a misfortune. To lose both looks like carelessness. Who was your father? He was evidently a man of some wealth. Was he born with the radical papers called the purple of commerce, and did he rise from the ranks of the aristocracy?
I'm afraid I really don't know. The fact is, Lady Bracknell, I said I lost my parents. It would be nearer the truth to say that my parents had lost me. I don't actually know who I am by birth. I was found.
Found?
The late Mr. Thomas Cardew, a man of a very kind and charitable disposition, found me and gave me the name of Worthing because he happened to have a first-class ticket in his pocket at the time. Worthing is a place in Sussex. It is a seaside resort.
And where did this charitable gentleman with a first-class ticket to a seaside resort in his pocket find you?
In a handbag?
A handbag?
Yes, Lady Bracknell, a somewhat large black leather handbag with handles to it. An ordinary handbag, in fact.
In what locality did this Mr. James or Thomas Cardew find this ordinary leather handbag?
In the cloakroom of Victoria Station. It was given him in mistake for his own.
Cloakroom at Victoria Station?
Yes, the writing line.
The line is immaterial. Mr. Worthing, I must confess I feel somewhat bewildered by what you have just told me. To be born or to be raised bred in a handbag, whether it's hand handles or not, seems to display contempt for the ordinary decencies of family life, which reminds one of the worst excesses of the French Revolution. And I presume you know what that unfortunate movement led to. As for the particular locality in which the handbag was found, a cloakroom at a railway station may serve to conceal a social indiscretion. Has probably been used for that purpose before now, but it can hardly be regarded as an assured basis for a good position in society.
May I ask you then what you advise me to do? I need hardly say I would do anything in the world to ensure Gwendolyn's happiness.
I would strongly advise you, Mr. Worthing, to try and acquire some relations as soon as possible, and to make an effort to produce one parent of either sex before the season is quite over.
I don't know how I could possibly manage to do that. I can produce the handbag for you. It is my dressing room at home. I think that would satisfy you, Lady Bracknell.
Me, sir? What has it to do with me? You can hardly imagine that Lord Bracknell and I would dream of allowing our only daughter, a girl brought up with the utmost care, to marry into a cloakroom and to form an alliance with a parcel. Good morning, Mr. Worthing.
Good morning. Don't play that ghastly tune out. How idiotic you are.
Didn't they go off all right, old boy? You don't mean to tell me that Gwendolyn refused you. It is the way she has. She is always refusing people. It is quite ill-natured of her.
Oh, Gwendolyn is right as a trivet. As far as she is concerned, we are engaged. Her mother is perfectly unbearable. Never met such a gorgon. I don't actually know what a gorgon is like, but I'm quite sure Lady Bracknell is one. She is a monster without being a monster, rather unfair. I beg your pardon now, I should have told your own aunt that before you.
My dear Philip, I love hearing her relations abused. It is the only thing that makes me put up with them at all. Relations are a very tedious pack of people who haven't got the remotest idea of how to live, nor the smallest instinct of when to die.
You don't think there's any chance of Gwendolyn becoming like her mother in about 150 years, do you, Algie?
All women become like their mothers. That is their tragedy. No man does. That is his.
Is that clever?
It is quite as true as anything in civilized life should be.
Everyone is clever nowadays. You can't go anywhere without meeting clever people. The thing has become an absolute public nuisance. I wish to goodness we still have a few fools left.
We have.
I would extremely like to meet them. What's it talk about?
The fools? About the clever people, of course.
Such fools.
By the way, did you tell Gwendolyn about you being Earnest in the town and Jack in the country?
Oh, the truth isn't the sort of thing you tell to a sweet, refined girl.
What about your brother? What about Earnest?
Oh, I should have got rid of Earnest by the end of the week. I'll say he died of apoplexy. Lots of people die suddenly of apoplexy, don't they?
My dear fellow, apoplexy is hereditary. It's the type of thing that runs in families. You better say severe chill.
Are you sure severe chill is hereditary?
Of course it isn't.
Very well then, my brother Ernest carried off in Paris by a severe chill. That gets rid of him.
But I thought you said that your little cousin Cecily was a little too fond of your poor brother Ernest. Won't she feel his loss a great deal?
That is all right. Cecily's a silly romantic girl, I'm glad to say. She's a capital appetite, goes on walks, and pays no attention at all to Ernest's.
I'd rather to see Cecily.
I'll take very good care that you never do. She's excessively pretty and only just 18.
Have you told Gwendolyn that you have an excessively pretty ward who's only just 18?
Oh, these aren't the sorts of things you just blurt out at people. Cecily and Gwendolyn are certainly great friends. I will bet you anything you like that for half an hour after they meet, they'll be calling each other sister.
My dear fellow, women only do that when they have to each other things first.
Now, if we were to live at a table as Melissa's, we better go up and change. Did you know it's nearly 7?
Oh, it is always nearly 7.
Well, I'm hungry.
I've never known you when you weren't.
Shall we go after dinner? Which is theatre?
Oh no, I love listening.
Shall we go to the club?
No, I hate talking.
Trot around the Empire at 10?
No, I can't bear to look at things. It's so silly.
Then what shall we do?
Nothing.
My dear fellow, it is excessively hard work doing nothing. It only is it when there is no specific object of any kind involved. Miss Fairfax! Gwendolyn, upon my word! Actually, kindly turn it back. I have something quite particular to say to Miss Worthing. I'm afraid, Gwendolyn, that I cannot approve of this. Actually, you always adopt a strictly immoral attitude towards life. You're not quite old enough to do that.
My own darling.
Ernest, we may never be married. If you look upon the last face, I fear we never shall. Very few parents nowadays pay any regard to what their children say to them. But every influence I ever had over mamma, I also had the age of 30. Now closure may prevent us from becoming man and wife. And I may marry someone else. And very often, nothing that she could possibly do could ever alter my eternal devotion to you.
Dear Gwendolyn.
So romantic origin, I should hate to be my mouth, unpleasing comments, has naturally stirred the deeper fathers of my nature. The Christian name has an irresistible fascination. The simplicity of a character makes you exquisitely incomprehensible to me. You tell me just the Albany I have. What is your address in the country?
The Manor House, Walton, Hertfordshire.
They have good postal service, I suppose. I may have to do something desperate. That, of course, will require serious consideration. I'll communicate with you daily.
My own one.
How long do you remain in town?
Till Monday.
Good. Actually, you may turn around now.
Thanks, but I've already turned around.
You may also ring there.
You know, you see us in a carriage, my darling.
Of course.
I'll see Miss Fairfax out.
Yes, sir.
A glass of sherry, Lane.
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow, Lane, I'm going to Bunbury.
Yes, sir.
I shan't be away till Monday, so you can take out all of my dressing clothes, my smoking jackets, and all of the Bunbury suits.
Yes, sir.
I hope tomorrow will be a fine day, Lane.
It never is, sir.
Lane, you are a perfect pessimist.
I do my best to your satisfaction, sir.
That will do, Lane. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
There's a sensible, intellectual girl. You're the girl I've loved in my life. What are you so amused at? I'm a little anxious about poor Bunbury, that is all. Oh, if you don't take care, your poor friend Bunbury's going to get into a serious scrape one day.
What scrapes? They're the only things that are never serious.
That is nonsense. You never talk anything but nonsense.
Nobody ever does.
Tell me, have you not made an art of simply existing? Look at us. Can you believe my mother wanted me to be a nun? And you, her husband's daughter from a small island. Actresses, music, society treasures.
Professional
We
beauties.
step onto the stage and the world holds its breath. We walk into a room and beauty itself must bow. Theatre is truth but heightened, draped in silk. And who, my dear Lillian, is that better than our dear Wilde?
Oscar, there was a man who knew beauty. When I performed Lady Windermere's fan, I could hear the audience gasp in between their laughter, as if the wit had revealed something scandalously true.
That was his genius. He made the world laugh at its own hypocrisy, until the world decided it did not care for the joke.
Yet his words remain like the scent of roses after the bloom has faded.
And that, mes amis, is the victory of art. That lives its maker. Beauty fades, a flesh withers, but words are immortal.
Words are immortal, but we need words to convey beauty. Perhaps
we dance.
a splendid idea. Now let us introduce our instructor extraordinaire, Lady Polanowski. Yay!
Have okay. Come round, my dear students. energetic.
Oh, she's jumping heavens.
Good heavens, get up here, darling.
Who is that? Oh, heavens. Wow, and you're matching.
All right. Welcome, I'm Lady Polanowski, instructor of advanced dance at Maryvale Finishing School, and today we will learn the waltz. The waltz is not a dance, no. It is poetry in motion. You must learn to glide across the floor, never stomp about like a herd of restless carriage horses. All right, first we must talk of posture. You must stand as if there was a string at the top of your head pulling you up. Oh, no, not literally. Energetically. Yes, ladies, you must stand with your back straight and your chin up, although not so high as to seem haughty. Gentlemen, you must stand with an air of confidence, never arrogance. Remember, your partner is not a sack of flour to be tossed about, but a gentle rose to be guided with care. Yes, now face each other. You are the gentlemen. Gentlemen bow, and ladies curtsy. Well done. Now behold. Gentlemen, you will raise your right hand and put it on the lady's waist. Only just so, mind you, yes. And ladies, your left hand will rest upon the gentleman's shoulder, and your free hands will be held up and out. Yes, great job. Now, the box step. Gentlemen, your left foot advances, and ladies, your right foot retreats. Yes, and one more time. Yes. And step to the side. And repeat. Step one, and to the side, and close. Now, good. Now we add the turn. The turn is the moment where everything around you disappears, and it is just you and your partner swept in a magical reverie. Turn your partner. Yes, beautiful. All right, we're going to try this music from the top piano. Yes, feel the beat. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and waltz.
Yeah, you're right from your left, darling.
Lovely. Chin up. Don't look at your feet, darling. They're not very interesting. Yes, glide with your partner. Give your partner a turn. Yes, and thank your partner with a bow and a curtsy. Beautiful. How about our dancing partner? Remember, the waltz is not just a dance. It is a performance, and always waltz, as if Queen Victoria herself were watching.
occupation as the walk through the flowers. It is rather more suited than yours, especially at moments when intellectual pleasures await you. Your German grammar is on the table. Hurry over at page 15. We will repeat yesterday's lesson.
But I don't like German. It isn't at all a becoming language. I know perfectly well that I look quite plain after my German lesson.
Child, you know how anxious your guardian is that you should improve yourself in every way. He laid particular stress on your German as he was leaving to come yesterday. demeanor is one to be commended for someone so comparatively young as he is. I know no one with a higher sense of duty and responsibility.
I suppose that's why he sometimes looks a bit bored when we three are together.
Cecily, I'm surprised at you. Mr. Worthing has many troubles in his life. Idleness and triviality will be out of question in his conversation. You must know his constant anxiety about that unfortunate young man, his brother.
I do wish he would let that unfortunate young man, his brother, come down here sometime. We might have a good influence over him, Miss Prism. I'm sure you certainly would. You know, geology and German and things of that kind have a very high influence over a man.
Indeed, I do not think that I could produce any effect on a character that, according to his own very definition, is so irreversibly weak and vacillating. Indeed, I do not think I would desire to reclaim him. I'm not for this modern mania of turning bad people into good people at a moment's notice, as men so let him weep. You must put away your diary, Cecily. I really don't see why you should diary at all.
I keep a diary in order to enter the wonderful secrets of my life. And if I don't write them down, I should forget all about them.
Memory, my dear Cecily, is a diary that we all carry about with us.
Yes, but it only chronicles the things that have never happened and could never have happened. I believe memory is responsible for nearly all the 3 volume novels Murray sends us.
You don't speak slightingly of the 3 volume novels, Cecily. I read them myself in early days.
Did you really, Miss Prism? How wonderfully clever you are. And your novel did not end happily, I suppose. I do not like novels that end happily. They depress me so much.
The good ended happily, the bad unhappily. That is what fiction means.
I suppose, but it seems rather unfair. And was your novel ever published?
Alas, no. The manuscript was abandoned. I use that word in the sense of lost story. Minister, to your workshop. These speculations are profitless.
Well, I see dear Dr. Tuttle coming up from the garden. Oh, Dr. Tuttle! This is indeed a pleasure! And how are you this morning, Miss Prism? You are, I trust well. Oh, Miss Prism has just been complaining of a slight headache. I believe it would do her much good to go for a short stroll with you in the park, Dr. Tuttle.
Cecily, I have not mentioned anything about the headache.
Yes, I know, but I felt instinctively that you had a headache. In fact, I was thinking about that, and not about my German lesson, when the rector came in. I hope, Cecily, you're not inattentive. Oh, I'm afraid I am. It is very strange. Were I fortunate enough to be Miss Prism's pupil, I would hang upon her lips. I spoke metaphorically, my metaphor was drawn from bees. Mr. Worthing, I suppose, has not returned from town yet.
We are expecting till Monday afternoon.
Ah, yes, his sole aim is not enjoyment as that unfortunate younger man, his brother, seems to be. But I must not disturb Nigeria, or people, any longer.
Eager is my name for the shut doctor.
A classical illusion merely drawn from the paper office. I shall see you both, no doubt, at Evenson.
I think, dear doctor, I will have a show with you. I finally have a headache after all, and a fortnight to sleep.
With pleasure, Miss Prism, with pleasure. Might you go as far as this meeting?
That would be delightful. Cecily, you will read your political economy in my absence. The chapter on the fall of the root you may omit is somewhat too sensational. Even these metallic problems have their melodramatic sides.
Horrid political economy, horrid geography, horrid German.
Mr. Ernest Worthing has just come over from the station. He has brought his luggage with him.
Mr. Earnest Worthing, before the Old West. Sir Ernest Worthing? Uncle Jack's brother. Did you tell him Mr. Worthing is in town?
Yes, miss, he seemed very much disappointed. I mentioned that you and Miss Prism were in the garden. He said he was anxious to speak with you privately for a moment.
Ask him to come here, and you'll speak to the housekeeper about a room for him.
Yes, miss.
Mr. Ernest Worthing. Have you ever met any really wicked person before? I feel rather frightened. I'm so afraid he would look just like everyone else. He does! You
your cousin Cecily, I'm sure.
Oh, there must be some misunderstanding. I'm not little. In fact, I think I am unusually tall for my age. But I am your cousin Cecily. And you are my cousin Ernest. My wicked cousin Ernest.
Oh, I'm not really wicked at all, Cecily. You mustn't think that I'm wicked.
If you are not wicked, then you have really been deceiving us all in a very inexcusable manner. I hope that you have not been living a double life, pretending to be good and really being wicked all the time. That would be hypocrisy.
Of course, I have been rather reckless.
I'm glad to hear it.
Now that you mention the subject, I have been very bad in my own small way.
I don't think that you should be so proud of that, though I am sure it must have been very pleasant.
It's much more pleasant being here with you.
I don't understand how you really idle. Uncle Jack won't return until Monday afternoon.
I'm afraid I'm obliged to go up on the first train on Monday. I have a business appointment that I am anxious to miss.
But couldn't you miss it anywhere but to London?
No, the appointment is in London.
Well, yes, I do know how important it is for one not to keep a business engagement if one wants to retain any sense of the beauty of life. I really think that you should wait until Uncle returns. He would like to speak with you about your emigrating.
About my what?
Your emigrating. You just want to buy your outfit now.
Oh, I certainly will not let Jack buy any of my outfits. He has such horrid taste in neckties.
Oh, I don't think you're going to require a necktie where you're going. Uncle is sending you to Australia.
To Australia? I'm to die.
Well, yes, he said at dinner on Wednesday night that you will have to choose between this world, the next world, and Australia.
Well, the accounts that I've received of the next world in Australia are not particularly encouraging. This world is just enough for me, Cousin Cecily.
Yes, but are you enough for it?
I'm afraid I'm not that. That is why I want you to reform me. You might make that your mission, Cousin Cecily.
I'm afraid I'm going to die this afternoon.
Then you want to mind me reforming myself this afternoon.
That would be rather quixotic of you, but I think you should try.
I will. I feel quite better already.
You're looking a little worse.
Because I'm hungry.
How thoughtless of me! How could I forget that when one is going to lead an entirely new life, one requires regular and wholesome meals. Do come in.
Oh, I have to have a buttonhole first. I have no appetite unless I've had a buttonhole first.
Understand me,
I do not have a pink rose.
Why?
Because you are like a pink rose, Cecily.
I don't think that you should say such things. Because Prism never says things like that to me.
Then Miss Prism is a short-sighted old lady. You are the prettiest girl I ever saw.
Miss Prism says all good looks are a snare.
A snare that every sensible man would like to be caught in.
I don't think that I should like to catch a sensible man. I wouldn't know what to talk to him about.
You are too much alone, little impossible. You should get married. A medicine drink, I can understand. A willing drink, never.
Believe me, I do not deserve such neologistic phrase. The precept, as well as the practice of the primitive church, was distinctly against matrimony.
That is obviously why the primitive church has not lasted up to the present day. And you do not seem to realize, dear Doctor, that by persistently remaining single, a man converts himself into a permanent public temptation. Men should be more careful. It is very seldom he leaves weaker vessels astray.
But is a man not legally attractive when married?
No married man is ever attractive, except to his wife.
And often out of control. Even there.
That depends on the intellectual sympathies of the woman. Maturity can be depended on. Rightness can be trusted. Young women are green. I'm so contradictory! I met so much longer fruits. But where is Cecily?
Perhaps she followed us to the schools.
Mr.
Worthing.
This is indeed a surprise. We did not expect you until Monday afternoon. I have returned sooner than I expected, Dr. Trottle. I hope you are.
Yeah, Mr. Worthing, I just this global world does not betoken some terrible calamity.
My brother! Washing presenting extravagance?
Still leading his life of pleasure.
Dead! Your brother Ernest dead! Why dead? What a lesson for him. I trust he will profit by it.
Dear Mr. Worthing, I offer you my sincere condolence. You have at least the consolation of knowing that you are always the most generous and forgiving of brothers.
Poor
many faults, but this is a sad blow. Very, very sad indeed. Will you listen in the end?
No, he died abroad in Paris. I received a telegram last night from the manager of the Grand Hotel.
What's the cause of death mentioned?
A severe chill, it seems. As the man sows, so shall he reap.
Charity, dear Miss Prism, charity! None of us are perfect. I myself am particularly susceptible to drafts. Will the interment take place here?
No, he expressed a desire to be buried in Paris.
In Paris? I feel that hardly points to any very serious state of mind at the last. Surely you would wish me to make some slight allusion to the tragic domestic affliction next Sunday. My sermon on the meaning of the manner of the wilderness can be adapted to almost any occasion, joyful, or in this present case, distressing. I have preached it at harvest celebrations, christenings, confirmations, on days of humiliation and festival days. The last time I delivered it was in the cathedral as a charity sermon on behalf of the prevention of discontent among the upper orders. The bishop who was present was much struck by so many analogies I drew.
That reminds me, you mentioned christenings, I think, Dr. Oswald. I suppose you christen all right. I mean, you are continually christening.
It is, I regret to say, one of the director's most constant duties in the parish. I talked to the board of classes on the subject, but they don't seem to know what thrift is.
But is there any particular infant in whom you are interested, Mr. Worthing? Your brother was unmarried, was he not?
Oh yes, people who live entirely for pleasure usually are.
But this is not any child, dear doctor. I'm fond of children. The fact is, I would like to be christened myself this afternoon if you have nothing better to do.
But surely you'll be christened already.
I don't remember anything about it.
And have you any very doubts on the subject?
I certainly intend to have, but I don't know if the thing would bother you in any way, or if you think I'm a little too old now.
No, not at all. The sprinkling, and indeed the immersion of adults, is a perfectly canonical practice.
Immersion?
No need apprehensions, Mr. Worthing. The sprinkling is all that is necessary, or indeed I think advisable. Oh, whether it is so changeable. At what hour would you wish the ceremony performed?
Much around 5, if that suits you.
Perfectly. In fact, I have 2 similar ceremonies to perform at that time. The case of twins has most recently occurred on the outermost lying cottages of your own estate. Poor Mr. Jenkins, the carter, a most hard-working man.
I find no fun in being christened along with other babies. It is so childish. Well, 5:30, dear.
Admirably. Now, I must not intrude into a house of sorrow any longer. I beg you not to be bowed down by grief. It seems to us that the trials are often a blessing in disguise.
It seems to me that's an extremely obvious kind.
Uncle Jack! Oh, I'm so glad to see you back. What horrid clothes you've got on. Do go change them.
Cecily!
My child. What's the matter? Do be happy. You look as if you've got a toothache. And I've got such a surprise for you. This is the dining room. Your brother? Who? Your brother Ernest, who arrived about half an hour ago.
Oh, but that is nonsense. I haven't got a brother.
Oh, don't say that. No matter how terribly he may have acted towards you in the past, he is still your brother. You couldn't be so heartless as to disown him. I'll go get him and we'll shake his hand, won't you, Uncle Jack? These are very joyful tidings.
And after we had all been resigned to his loss, the sudden return seems to me peculiarly distressing.
My brother in the dining room. I don't know what this all means. I think it's perfectly absurd.
Oh, good heavens! Brother John, I have come down from town to tell you that I am so sorry for all the trouble that I have caused you, and I intend to give up a life in the future. Uncle Jack, you're not going to refuse your own brother's hand, are you?
Nothing will induce me to shake his hand. I think it's going down here disgraceful. He knows perfectly well why.
Uncle Jack, do be nice. There is some good in everyone. Ernest was just telling me all about his poor invalid friend, Mr. Bunbury, who goes to visit so often. There must be some good man who's kind to an invalid. Oh, leaves the pleasures of London to sit by your bed of pain.
Oh, he's been talking of Bunbury, has he?
Yes, he's told me all about poor Mr. Bunbury and his terrible state of health.
Bunbury! I won't have you talking about Bunbury or about anything else. It is enough to drive one perfectly frantic.
Of course, I admit that the faults were all on my side, but I must say that Brother John's coldness to me is peculiarly painful. I was
drawn on judgment.
I feel very happy.
You have discovered your algae. You've got to leave this place as soon as possible. I don't allow any bumbling here.
I have put Mr. Earnest things in the room next to yours, sir. I suppose that is all right.
What?
Mr. Earnest's luggage, sir. I've unpacked it and put it in the room next to your own.
His luggage?
Yes, sir. 3 portmanteaus, a dressing case, 2 hat boxes, and a large luncheon basket.
I'm afraid I can't stay more than a week this time. Merriman, order the dog out at once. Mr. Earnest has been suddenly called back to town.
Yes, sir.
Fearful life check, I've not been called back to town.
Yes, you have.
I haven't heard anybody call me.
Your duty as a gentleman calls you back.
My duty as a gentleman has never interfered with my pleasures in the smallest degree.
Well, I can quite understand that.
Well, Cecily is darling.
You will never talk with Miss Cardew like that. I don't like it.
Well, I don't like your clothes. You look perfectly disgraceful in them. I think it is quite childish of you to be in deep mourning for a man who is actually staying at your house for a whole week as a guest. I call it grotesque.
What will you do if I change my clothes?
Yes, you don't take so long to dress. I've never seen somebody take so long to dress with such a little result.
Well, at any rate, it's better than always being overdressed as you are.
If I'm occasionally overdressed, I make up for it by being immensely overeducated.
Your vanity is ridiculous, your conduct an outrage, and your presence in my garden utterly absurd. You have got to catch the 4 or 5 and have a pleasant journey back to town. This Bunbury you want has not been a great success for you.
It has been a great success. I'm in love with Cecily, and that is everything. But I must see her before she leaves and make arrangements for another Bunbury! Oh, there she is. Me? I really came for the roses. I thought you were asking if I'm trapped. He's going to order the dog after me. Oh, is he? He's going to send me away. Remember the part. This is going to be a very painful parting. It is always very painful to part from those to whom one has just been introduced. The absence of an old friend one can endure with equanimity, but even a momentary separation from those whom one has known for a brief space of time can seem almost unbearable. Thank you.
The dog is waiting, sir.
It's great, Marianne. For 5 minutes.
Yes, miss.
Cecily, I hope I shall not offend you if I state well, quite openly and frankly, that you seem to me to be the visible personification of absolute perfection. Your frankness does you great credit, Earnest. If you don't mind, I'll copy your remarks into my diary. Do you think you keep a diary? I'd give anything to read it. Oh, no, I couldn't possibly. It is simply a very young girl's very own thoughts and impressions, consequently not for publication. I do hope, Ernest, that when it appears in volume form, you will order a copy, but pray don't stop. I delight in taking down for dictation. I have reached absolute perfection. I'm quite ready for more. Do go on. Don't cough, Ernest. When one is dictating, one should speak fluently and not cough. Besides, I don't know how to spell a cough. Cecily, ever since I looked upon your wonderful and incomparable beauty, I have dared to love you wildly, passionately, hopelessly, and devotedly. I don't think that you should say that you love me wildly, passionately, hopelessly, and devotedly. Honestly, it doesn't make sense, does it? Cecily!
The dog is waiting, sir.
Tell it to come around, next week you can say no!
Yes, sir.
Uncle Jack would be very much annoyed if you would stay on until next week at the seminar. I don't care about Uncle Jack. I don't care about anybody in the whole world except you, Cecily. You'll marry me, won't you? You silly boy, of course. Why, we have been engaged for the last 3 months. The last 3 months? Yes, it will be exactly 3 months on Thursday. But how did we become engaged? Well, when Uncle Jack first mentioned to us that he had a younger brother who was very wicked and bad, you of course have formed the chief topic of conversation between myself and Miss Prism. And anyone who is much talked about is always very attractive. One believes there must be something in him after all. I dare say, it was foolish of me, Ernest, but I fell in love with you. But when was our engagement actually settled? On the 14th of February last. Well, not by
broken off. Of course it was. On the 22nd of last March. You can see the entry if you'd like. Today, I broke off my engagement with Earnest. I feel it is better to do so. The weather still continues charming.
But what had I done, Cecily? I had done nothing. I am greatly distressed to hear that you broke off our engagement, especially when the weather was so charming.
It would hardly have been a real engagement if it hadn't been broken off at least once. But don't worry, I forgave you before the week was out.
What an angel you are, Cecily.
Your hair is natural, I suppose.
Yes, with a little help from others.
I'm so glad to hear it.
You won't break off our engagement again?
I don't think that I could now that we've met. Besides, there is the question of your name.
Yes, of course.
Don't laugh at me, darling, but there's always been some girlish dream of mine to love a person called Earnest. The name alone inspires absolute confidence. I pity any poor woman whose husband is not called Earnest.
But, Cecily, what you mean to say is you could not love me if I had some other name?
But what other name?
Any name. Like Algernon, for instance.
I don't like the name of Algernon.
Cecily, I can't see why you oppose the name of Algernon. I think it is a rather aristocratic name. If my name was Algie, couldn't you love me?
I might respect you. Ernest, I might admire your character. But just don't think that I could give you my undivided attention.
Cecily, your rector here is well versed in all ceremonials and rites of the church.
Yes, Dr. Trussell is a very learned man. He's never written a single book, so you can imagine how much he knows.
I must see him on most important christening. I mean most important business. I shall not be away for more than 30 minutes.
Couldn't you make it 20?
I'll be back in no time.
What an impetuous boy he is. I like his hair so much. I must enter his proposal into my diary.
Welcome to Mrs. Bramwell's School of Etiquette. It has come to my attention that the matter of etiquette, once the very foundation upon which society rested, is in great peril. Standards have fallen, decorum is now a mistake in good drudgery. This is, of course, an intolerable state of affairs. A well-bred individual, properly reared and possessing even a modicum of intelligence, must understand that etiquette is not an inconvenience, but a necessity. Without it, civilization would perish and respectable tea services would devolve into riotous affairs of unseemly informality. A horror indeed. So, let us commence a brief lesson, lest we crumble in chaos. I leave you in the care of my trusty ladies here. Godspeed.
Bathing. Upon arising, take a complete bath. The complete bathing of the body once daily is of the utmost importance, lest you repel potential suitors.
Skin. Beware of exterior application of cosmetics. Instead of which, every 2 or 3 months, take a teaspoonful of cream to sweeten the water of milk. This will prove efficacious if the blushing clear and transparent.
Bowing. A gentleman should not bow from a window to a lady on the street, though he may bow slightly upon being recognized by a lady in a window. Such recognition should, however, generally be avoided, as gossip is likely to attach undue importance to it when seen by others.
Dignity. To greet a man by saying, "Hello, old fellow," indicates ill breeding. If you're approached in this vulgar manner, it is better to give a civil reply, in which case the person will likely be ashamed of their own misconduct. Husbands. Always leave home with a tender goodbye and loving words. They may be the last.
Street etiquette. When crossing the street, a lady should raise her dress with her right hand, a little about the ankle. To raise the dress with both hands is vulgar, and can only be excused when mud is very deep.
Invitations to dine should be accepted or graciously declined at once. If you accept such an invitation, you must attend, unless prevented from doing so due to serious illness or death.
Young ladies can take no more than 3 glasses of wine at dinner, although married ladies might take even 5 or 6. Unless you absolutely abstain, it is ill-mannered to decline to take wine if invited to do so. When responding to a toast, a sip is okay, emptying the glass is not.
a brief and most civilized 10-minute intermission.
A Miss Fairfax has just called to see Mr. Worthing on very important business, Miss Fairfax states.
Is it Mr. Worthing in his library?
Mr. Worthing went over in the direction of the rectory some time ago, miss.
Pray, ask the woman to come here, and I'm sure Mr. Worthing will return soon.
Yes, miss.
Miss Fairfax. That must be one of the many good elderly women involved in some philanthropic work with Uncle Jack in London. I don't like women who are involved in philanthropic work. So forward of them.
Miss Fairfax.
Pray, let me introduce myself to you. My name is Cecily Cardew.
Cecily Cardew! What a very sweet name. Something tells me we are going to be great friends. I like you already more than I can say. My first impressions of people are never wrong.
How kind of you to like me so much after we've known each other such a comparatively short time. Pray, sit down.
I may call you Cecily, may I not?
With pleasure.
And you will always call me Gwendolen, won't you?
If you like.
Then that is all quite settled, is it not?
I hope so.
Well, I suppose this should be a most favourable time of my mentioning who I am. My father is Lord Bracknell. You've never heard of Papa, I suppose?
Don't think so.
Outside the family circle, Papa, I'm glad to say, is entirely unknown. I think that is quite as it should be. The domestic sphere seems to be the perfect sphere for the man. And when a man begins to neglect his domestic duties, he grows to be painfully effeminate, does he not? And I don't like that. It makes men so very attractive. Cecily, Mamma, whose views in education are remarkably strict, has brought me up to be quite short-sighted. It's part of her system, so would you mind my looking at you through my glasses?
Of course not. I'm very fond of being looked at.
You're on a short visit, I suppose?
Oh, no, I live here.
Really? No doubt your mother or some female relative of advanced years resides here also?
Oh, no, I have no mother. Oh, in fact, any relations.
Indeed.
Indeed. My guardian, with the assistance of Miss Prism, have the arduous task of looking after me.
Your guardian?
Yes, I am Mr. Worthing's ward.
Oh, it's strange to me he never mentioned having a ward. How secretive of him. He grows more interesting hourly. But I'm not sure if such news fills me with feelings of unmixed delight. Cecily, I'm very fond of you. I've liked you ever since I met you, but now that I knew that you are Mr. Worthing's ward, I can't help but express a feeling, a wish that you were, well, just a little older than you seem to be, and not so very alluring in appearance. If I could speak candidly.
Oh, pray do. I think that whenever one has anything unpleasant to say, one should always be quite candid.
Well, to speak with perfect candour, Cecily, I wish you were fully 42 and more than usually plain for your age. Earnest has a strong, upright nature. He is the very soul of truth and honour. Disloyalty to him would be just as foreign as deception. But even men of the most noble, sound, moral character are often susceptible to the physical charms of others. Modern, no less than ancient history supplies us with most painful examples of what I refer to. If it were not so, indeed, history would be quite unreadable.
I beg your pardon, Gwendolen. Did you say Earnest?
Yes.
Oh, but it is not Earnest Worthing who's my guardian. It is his brother, his elder brother.
Ah, he never mentioned having a brother.
I'm afraid they have not been on good terms for a long time.
Ah, that accounts for it. You know, now that you mention it, I've never had a man mention having a brother. The subject seems distasteful to me as men. Cecily, you have lifted a load from my mind. I was growing almost anxious. It would have been awful if some foreign cloud were to come over a friendship such as ours, would it not? Indeed, you are quite sure it's not Mr. Earnest Worthing who is your guardian.
Quite sure. In fact, I'm going to be his.
I beg your pardon.
There is no need for me to make a secret of it to you, dear Gwendolyn. Our little county newspaper is sure to chronicle the fact next week, but Ernest and I are engaged to be married.
That is very odd, you see. Mr. Ernest Worthing is engaged to me. The subject is to be announced in the Morning Post at Saturday at the latest.
There must be some misunderstanding, Miss Fairfax. Ernest proposed to me exactly 10 minutes ago.
That is certainly quite odd. You see, he proposed to me yesterday afternoon at 5:30. If you care to verify the fact, pray do so. I never travel out my diary. It's important that one has something quite sensational to read in the train. I'm so sorry, dear Cecily, if it is any disappointment to you, but I'm afraid that I have the prior claim.
It would distress me more than I can tell you, dear Gwendolyn, if it were to cause you any mental or physical anguish, but I feel bound to point out that since Ernest proposed to you, he has clearly changed his mind.
If the poor fellow has been entrapped into some foolish promise, I shall consider it my duty to rescue him at once, with a firm hand.
Whatever unfortunate entanglement my dear boy may have gotten himself into, I will never reproach it with him once we are married.
Do you allude to me, Miss Cardew, as an entanglement? You're presumptuous. On matters such as these, it is more than a moral duty to speak one's mind. It becomes a pleasure.
You suggest, Miss Fairfax, that I entrapped Ernest into an engagement. How dare you? In times like these, there is no time for wearing the shallow mask of manners. When I see a spade, I call it a spade.
Well, I'm glad to say I've never seen a spade. It's quite obvious our social spheres have been widely different.
Shall I lay the tea here as usual, miss?
Yes, as usual.
Are there many charming walks in the vicinity, Miss Cardew?
Oh, yes, a great many. From the top of a nearby hill, one can see nearly 5 counties.
5 counties? I don't think I should like that. I hate crowds.
Suppose that is why you live in town.
Wow, what a well-kept garden this is, Miss Cardew.
So, glad you like it, Miss Fairfax.
Why, I had no idea there were so many flowers in the country.
Flowers are always common here, Miss Fairfax, as people are in London.
Well, I have no idea how anyone could manage to exist in the country. If anybody who's anybody does. The country always bores me to death.
I suppose that is what the papers have been calling agricultural depression. I believe the aristocracy is suffering from it very much at present. It seems to be almost an epidemic amongst them. Would you like some tea?
Thank you. Detestable girl. But I require tea.
Sugar?
No, thank you. Sugar is not fashionable anymore.
Cake? Oh, bread and butter.
Bread and butter. Cake is not seen in the most fashionable of households nowadays.
Come here. And this to Miss Fairfax.
You have filled my tea with lumps of sugar, and I ask most distinctly for bread and butter. You have given me cake. I know for the sweetness of my nature and the gentleness of my disposition. But I warn you, Miss Cardew, you may go too far.
To save my sweet, innocent, trusting boy from the machinations of any other girl, there are no lengths to which I would not go.
From the moment I saw you, I distrusted you. I knew you were false and deceitful. I never saw fooled in such manners. My first impressions of people are always invariably right.
Seems to me, Miss Fairfax, that I am trespassing on your valuable time. I'm sure you have many other simpler calls of character to make in the neighbourhood.
Ernest, my own Ernest! A moment. Are you engaged to be married to this young lady?
To dear little Cecily? Of course not. How could I put such an idea into your pretty little head?
Thank you. You may.
I knew there must be some misunderstanding, Miss Fairfax. The man whose arm is at present around your waist is my guardian, John Worthing.
I beg your pardon.
This is Uncle Jack.
Jack.
Here is Ernest.
Your love.
A moment. May I ask you, are you engaged to be married to this young lady?
To what young lady?
Good heavens, Gwendolyn! Yes, to good heavens, Gwendolyn. I mean, to Gwendolyn.
Of course not. What could have put an idea like that into your pretty little head?
Thank you. You may.
I knew there must be some slight confusion. See, the gentleman who is currently embracing you is my cousin, Mr. Algernon Moncrief.
Algernon Moncrief? Is your name really Algernon? I cannot deny it.
Is your name truly John?
I could deny it if I liked. I could deny anything if I liked, but my name certainly is John. It has been John for years.
A gross deception has been played on the both of us.
Oh, my sweet, wounded Cecily.
Poor wrong Gwendolyn.
Call me sister, will you not?
I'd just like to be allowed to ask my guardian one question.
Admirable idea. Mr. Worthing, where is your brother Ernest? We are both engaged to be married to your brother Ernest, so it is of some importance of us to know where your brother Ernest is at present.
Gwendolyn, Cecily, it is very painful for me to be forced to speak the truth, but I have no brother Ernest. I have no brother at all. I've never had a brother, and I'm not the smallest intention of having one in the future.
No brother? At all?
None.
Have you never a brother of any kind?
Not even of any kind.
Well, it's quite clear to me, Cecily, that neither of us are engaged to be married to anyone.
It is quite an unfortunate situation for any young girl to find herself in.
Let us go into the house. I hardly think they dare to venture after us in there.
Yes, men are so cowardly, aren't they? So cowardly.
This ghastly state of things which you call bumbering, I suppose.
And a very wonderful bunbury it is. One of the most wonderful bunburies I've ever had in my entire life.
Well, you have no right to bunbury here.
That is absurd. One has a right to bunbury wherever one wants to. Every serious bunburyist knows that.
Serious bumburist, good heavens.
If one wants any amusement in life, one must be serious about something. I happen to be serious about bunburying. What on earth are you serious about? I haven't gotten the remotest idea about everything, I should fancy. You seem to have an absolutely trivial nature.
Well, the only small satisfaction I have is to suspect your business and that your poor friend Bunbury is quite exploded. You won't be able to go to the venture as often as you're used to, Algie, and a very good thing too.
Your little brother is a little off colour, isn't he, Jack? You won't be able to go up to London as much as your wicked custom was, and not a bad thing either.
And as for your conduct towards Miss Cardew, you're taking in a sweet, innocent girl like that is inexcusable, not to mention the fact that she's my ward.
I see no possible defence at all for deceiving a brilliant, clever, thoroughly experienced lady like Miss Fairfax, to say nothing of the fact that she is my cousin.
I want to be engaged to Gwendolyn, that's all, I love her.
I wanted to be engaged to Cecily, I adore her.
There's no chance of you ever marrying Miss Cardew.
I don't think there's much chance of you and Miss Fairfax being united.
But that is no business of yours.
If it was my business, I wouldn't talk about it. It is so vulgar to talk about one's own business.
How can you sit there calmly eating muffins with me in this horrible trouble I can't make out? It seems perfectly heartless.
One cannot eat muffins in an agitated manner. The butter would get all over my cuffs. One must always eat muffins quite calmly. It is the only way to eat them.
I say it's perfectly heartless you're eating muffins at all under the circumstances.
When I'm in great trouble,
Food is the only thing that consoles me. In fact, when I'm in great trouble, the only thing I never refuse is food and drink. At the present moment, I'm eating muffins because I'm unhappy, to say nothing of the fact that I'm particularly fond of muffins.
We don't have to eat them at all in that greedy way.
I wish you'd have tea cake. I don't like tea cake.
Algie, I wish to goodness you would go.
I haven't quite finished my dinner yet. You could not possibly ask me to do without having any dinner yet. Nobody goes without having their dinner except vegetarians and people like that. Besides, I have just made arrangements with Dr. Chasuble to be christened under the name of Earnest at 5:45.
My dear fellow, the sooner you let go of that nonsense, the better. I've made arrangements to be christened myself with Dr. Chasuble at 5:30. I will naturally take the name of Earnest. Gwendolyn will wish it. We cannot both be christened Earnest, absurd.
I haven't been christened for years.
Yes, but you have been christened. That's the important thing.
So my constitution can stand it. If you are not quite sure about ever being christened, I think it's rather dangerous of you venturing on it now. You must remember that somebody very closely connected to you was just carried off in Paris by a severe chill.
But you said a severe chill was hereditary.
It used to be, but I dare say it is now. Science is always making great improvements in things.
Oh, that is nonsense. You're always talking nonsense.
Yes, you have the muffins again. I wish you would stop. There are only 2 muffins left. I told you I was particularly fond of muffins.
But I hate tea cake.
Then why do you want to be stuck to your guts? I refuse to have to tell you you have.
I've already told you to go. I don't want you here. Why don't you go?
I haven't quite finished my tea yet, and there's still 1 more muffin left.
Seems to me they have some sense of dignity left.
They have been eating muffins. That looks like repentance.
They don't seem to notice us. Couldn't you cough?
I haven't got to cough.
They're looking at us. What effrontery!
They're approaching. How forward of them.
We shall retain a dignified silence.
Yes, it is the only thing to do.
This dignified silence seems to produce a most distasteful effect.
A most unpleasant one.
But we shall not be the first to speak.
Certainly not.
Mr. Worthing, I have a question to put to you. Much depends on your reply.
Your common sense is invaluable, Gwendolyn. Mr. Moncrief, kindly answer me the following question. Why did you pretend to be my guardian's brother?
In order that I might have an opportunity of meeting you.
That seems to me to be a rather satisfactory answer.
Certainly, dear, if you could believe him.
I don't, but that doesn't change the wonderful beauty of his answer.
True. Style, not sincerity, is the vital thing. Mr. Worthing, what could you offer to me as to explaining why you pretended to have a brother? Was it in order to come up to town as often as possible in order to see me?
Can you doubt it, Miss Fairfax?
Oh, I have my gravest doubts upon the subject, but I intend to crush them. This is not the moment for German skepticism. Their answers seem to be most satisfactory, especially Mr. Worthing's, which seems to have the stamp of truth upon it.
I'm quite satisfied with Mr. Moncrief's answer. His voice alone inspires absolute credulity.
So you think we should forgive them?
Yes.
No! You're right. There are principles at stake that one cannot surrender. Which of us should tell them? The task is not a simple one.
Could we not speak at the same time?
I always speak at the same time as others. Would you take the time from me? 1, 2, 3. Your Christian names are still an insuperable barrier. That is all.
Our Christian names, is that all? But we are going to be christened this afternoon.
For me, you're prepared to do this terrible thing?
I am.
So please me, you are willing to face this fearful ordeal?
I am.
Oh, darling!
Darling.
Lady Bracknell!
Oh, good heavens!
Gwendolyn, what does this mean?
Merely them. Engaged to be married to Mr. Worthing, Mamma.
Pardon me, you are nothing of the kind. Come, sit down. Sit down immediately. Hesitation of any kind is a sign of mental decay in the young, of physical weakness in the old. Apprise, sir, my daughter's sudden flight by her trusty maid, whose confidence I purchased by means of a small coin. I followed her here by luggage train. Her unhappy father is, I am glad to say, under the impression that she is attending a more than usually lengthy lecture by the University Extension Scheme of the influence of a permanent income on thought. I do not propose to undeceive him. Indeed, I have never undeceived him on any question. I would consider it wrong. But of course you must understand that all communication between yourself and my daughter is to cease from this moment. On this point, as on all points, I am firm.
I'm engaged to be married to Gwendolyn, Lady Bracknell.
You are nothing of the kind, sir. And as regards Algernon... Algernon!
Yes, altogether.
May I ask you what is in this house that your infinite friend Mr. Bunbury resides?
Bunbury isn't here at the moment, and Bunbury does not live here anymore. In fact, Bunbury is dead.
Dead? When did Mr. Bunbury die? His death must have been rather sudden.
What killed Bunbury this afternoon? Bunbury died this afternoon.
What did he die of?
Bunbury? Quite exploded.
Exploded? Was he the victim of a revolutionary outrage? I was not aware Mr. Bunbury was interested in social legislation. If so, he is well punished for his morbidity.
Aunt Augusta, what I mean to say is that Bunbury was found out. The doctors found out that Bunbury could not live, so Bunbury died.
He seems to have had great confidence in the opinion of his physicians. I am, however, glad that he made up his mind at last to some definite course of action and acted upon proper medical advice. And now that we've got rid of this Mr. Bunbury, Mr. Worthing, may I ask, who is the young person whose hand my nephew Algernon is now holding in what seems to be a particularly unnecessary manner?
That lady's Miss Cecily Cardew, my ward.
I am engaged to be married to Cecily, Aunt Augusta.
I beg your pardon.
Mr. Moncrief and I are engaged to be married, Lady Bracknell.
I do not know if there is anything particularly exciting in the air in this part of Hertfordshire, but the amount of engagements that go on seems to be considerably above the proper average that statistics have laid out for our guidance. I believe some preliminary enquiry on my part will not be out of the question. Mr. Worthing, is Miss Cardew at all connected with any of the larger railway stations in London? I merely desire information. Until yesterday, I had no idea there were any persons or families whose origin was a terminus.
Miss Cardew is the granddaughter of the late Mr. Thomas Cardew of 149 Belgrave Square, Southwest, Gervais Park, Dorking, Surrey and Asparen, Fifeshire, NB.
That sounds not unsatisfactory. 3 addresses always inspire confidence, even in tradesmen. But what proof have I of their authenticity?
I have carefully preserved the court guides of the period. They are open to your inspection, Lady Bracknell.
I have known strange errors in that publication.
Miss Cardew's family's solicitors are Messrs. Markby, Markby and Markby.
Markby, Markby and Markby. Firm of the very highest regard in the profession. Indeed, I even told one of Mr. Markby's as occasionally to be seen at dinner parties. So far, I am satisfied.
That's very generous of you, Lady Bracknell. I have also in my possession, you will be pleased to hear, certificates of Miss Cardew's birth, baptism, whooping cough, registration, confirmation, vaccination, and the measles, with the English and German variety.
A life crammed with incident, I see. Perhaps somewhat too exciting for a young girl. I myself am not in favour of premature experiences. Gwendolyn, the time arises for departure. We have not a moment to lose. As a matter of form, Mr. Worthing, I had better ask if Miss Cardew had any little fortune.
Oh, about £130,000 in the funds, that is all. Goodbye, Lady Bracknell, so pleased to have seen you.
A moment, Mr. Worthing. £130,000, and in the funds. Miss Cardew seems to be a most attractive young lady now that I really look at her. Come here, sweet child. Your dress is sadly simple, and your hair seems almost as if nature might have left it. But we can soon alter all that. A thoroughly experienced French maid produces a really marvellous result in a very brief space of time. Kindly turn around, dear. No, aside is what I want. Yes, just as I suspected. There are distinct social possibilities in your profile. The 2 weak points in our age are sort of principle and sort of profile. The chin is worn a little higher, dear. Style largely depends on the way the chin is worn. They are worn very high just at present, yes. Algernon.
Yes, Aunt Augusta?
There are distinct social possibilities in Miss Cardew's profile.
Cecily is the dearest, sweetest, prettiest girl in the whole world. I don't care 2 pence about social possibilities.
Never speak disrespectfully of society, Algernon. Only those who can't get into it do that. Well, I suppose I must give my may also address me as Aunt Augusta.
Thank you, Aunt Augusta. Pardon me for interrupting, Lady Bracknell, but this engagement is quite out of the question. I am Miss Cardew's guardian, and she cannot marry without my consent until she comes legally of age, and that consent I absolutely decline to give.
Upon what grounds, may I ask? Algernon is an extremely, may I almost say, ostentatiously eligible young man. He has nothing, but he looks everything. What more can one desire?
It is very painful for me to be forced to speak the truth to you about your nephew, but I do not approve of his moral character. I suspect him of being untruthful.
Untruthful? My nephew Algernon? Impossible. He is an Oxonian.
I fear there can be no possible doubt about the matter. This afternoon, during my temporary absence in London on a warm question of romance, he obtained admission in my house on a false pretense of being my brother. Under an assumed name, he drank, I've just been informed by my butler, an entire bottle of wine specially reserved for myself. Continuing his disgraceful deception, he succeeded the course of the afternoon, alienating the affections of my only ward, but subsequently stayed for tea and devoured every single muffin. But it makes his conduct all the more heartless to see me from the first that I have no brother, I've never had a brother, and I have the smallest intention of having one in the future. I told him so myself yesterday afternoon.
Upon careful consideration, I have decided to entirely overlook my nephew's conduct.
That is very kind of you, Lady Bracknell. However, my own decision is unalterable. I decline to give my consent.
Come here, sweet child. How old are you?
Well, I am really only 18, but I mix 20 at parties.
You're perfectly right in making some alteration. A woman should never be so accurate about her age. It looks calculating. 18, but admitting to 20 at evening parties. Well, it won't be long until you are free from the restraints of tutelage. Else I don't think, after all, your guardian's consent is a matter of great importance.
Pray excuse me for interrupting again, Lady Bracknell, but it is only fair to tell you that according to the terms of her grandfather's will, Miss Cardew does not come legally of age until she is 35.
That does not seem to be a grave objection. 35 is a very attractive age. London society is full of women of the very highest birth who have, of their own free choice, remained 35 for years.
Algie, do you think you can wait for me until I was 35?
Of course I could. You know I could, Cecily.
Yes. Yes, I felt instinctively that you could, but I'm afraid that I could not. I hate waiting even 5 minutes for anyone. It makes me rather cross. I'm not punctual myself, but I do like punctuality in others, and waiting, even to be married, is quite out of the question.
Then what is to be done, Cecily?
I don't know.
Mr. Worthing, as Miss Cardew states, that she absolutely cannot wait until she is 35, a remark which seems to me to show a somewhat impatient nature. I would beg of you to at least consider your decision.
But my dear Lady Bracknell, the decision is entirely in your own hands. The moment you consent to my marriage with Gwendolyn, I would gladly allow your nephew to form an alliance with my ward.
You must be quite aware that that is out of the question.
Then a passionate celibacy is all that any of us can look forward to.
That is not the destiny I propose for Gwendolyn. Algernon, of course, can choose for himself. Come, dear, we have already missed 5, if not 6 trains. To miss any more might expose us to comment on the platform.
Everything is quite ready for the christenings.
The christenings, sir, is that not somewhat premature?
But both of these gentlemen have expressed a desire for immediate practice.
At their age? The idea is grotesque and irreligious. Algernon, I forbid you to be baptized. I will not hear of such excesses. Lord Bracknell would be highly displeased if he learned of the way in which you wasted your time and money.
I understand that there will be no baptisms at all this afternoon.
I don't think that, as things are now, it will be of much practical value to either of us, Dr. Choswell.
I'm grieved to hear such sentiments from you, dear Mr. Worthing. They savour of the heretical views of the Anabaptists, the views that I have completely refuted in 4 of my unpublished sermons. However, as your present mood seems to be one particularly secular, I return to the church at once. Indeed, I have just been informed by the pew opener that Miss Prism has been waiting for me in the vestry for the last hour and a half.
Prism? Did I hear you mention Miss Prism?
Yes, Lady Bracknell, I am on my way to join her.
Pray, allow me to detain you for a moment. Is this Miss Prism a female of repellent aspect, remotely connected with education.
She's the most cultivated of ladies and the very picture of respectability.
It is obviously the same person. May I ask what position she holds in your household?
I am a celibate, madam.
Miss Prism, Lady Bracknell, has been for the last 3 years Miss Claudia's esteemed governess and valiant companion.
Despite what I hear of her, I must see her at once. What are we sent off for?
She approaches. She's nigh.
I was told you expect me in the vestry, dear Ken. I've been waiting for you there for an hour and 3
Prism! Come here, Prism! Prism! Where is that baby? 28 years ago, Prism, you left Lord Bracken's house, number 104, Upper Grosvenor Street, in charge of a perambulator that contained a baby of the male sex. You never returned. A few weeks later, through the elaborate investigations of the Metropolitan Police, the perambulator was discovered at midnight in a remote corner of Bayswater. It contained a 3-volume manuscript of more than usual revolting sentimentality. But the baby was not there. Prism! Where is that baby?
Lady Bracknell, I am imitating that I do not know. I only wish I did. The plain facts of the case are these. On the day that she mentioned, a day that is forever branded on my memory, I intended, as usual, to take the baby out in its pram. I also have with me a somewhat old but capacious handbag, in which I had intended to place a manuscript of a work of fiction that I had written in my few unoccupied hours. In a moment of mental obstruction, in which I never can forgive myself, I deposited the manuscript in the bassinet and placed the baby in the handbag.
But where did you deposit that handbag?
Do not ask me, Mr. Worthing.
Miss Prism, this is of no small importance to me. I insist on knowing where you put the handbag that contained that infant.
Oh, I left it in the cloakroom of one of the larger railway stations in London.
What railway station?
Victoria, the Brighton line.
I must retire to my room for a moment. Gwendolyn, you'll wait here for me.
If you're not too long, I'd wait for you all my life.
What do you think this means?
I dare not even suspect, Dr. Chasuble. I need hardly tell you that in families of high importances, strange coincidences are not supposed to occur. They are hardly considered a thing.
Uncle Jack sounds agitated. Uncle has a very emotional nature.
This noise is extremely unpleasant and reminds me of an argument. I dislike arguments of any kind. They are always vulgar and often convincing.
It is stopped now.
I wish you were alright.
Suspense is terrible. I hope it'll last.
Is this the handbag, Miss Prism? Examine it carefully before you speak. The happiness of more than one life depends on your answer.
It seems to be mine. Yes. Here is the injury received through the upsetting of a gallantry, only less in younger and happier days. And here, it's the same on the lining, caused through the exposure of temperance beverage, an incident that occurred at Leamington. And here, on the lock, are my initials. I have forgotten that in an extravagant mood, I had them placed there. This bag is undoubtedly mine. I am delighted to have it so unexpectedly restored to me. It's been a great and continuous being with tax of all these years.
Miss Prism, more than that handbag has been restored to you. I was the baby you placed in it.
You?
Yes! Mother!
Mr. Worthing, I'm not married.
I'm married! I do not deny this is a serious blow. But after all, who is the right to parcel still the one that has suffered? Can't act for repentance, wipe out the folly. Why should there be one more for men and another for women? Mother, I forgive you!
Mr. Worthing, there is some error. Ah! It's like you can tell you who you really are!
Lady Bracknell, I hate to seem inquisitive, but can you inform me who I am?
I am afraid that the news I have to give you will not altogether please you. You are the son of my poor sister, Mrs. Moncrief, and consequently Algernon's elder brother.
Algy's elder brother! So I do have a brother after all! I've always known I've had a brother. I've always said I've had a brother. Cecily, how could you ever doubt I have a brother? Dr. Chasuble, my unfortunate brother! Miss Prism, my unfortunate brother! Gwendolyn, my unfortunate brother! You young scoundrel, Algy, you've got to treat me with more respect in the future. You've never behaved like a brother to me in all your life.
Well, not for today, on my admit, however, those are the practice! Oh, my own. But what own are you? What is your christening now that you've become someone else?
Good heavens, I'd quite forgotten that point. I suppose your decision on my name is still irrevocable, I suppose.
I never change, except in my affections.
What a noble nature you have, Gwendolyn.
Then the question had much better be cleared up. Augusta, a moment. At the time this person deposited me in a handbag, had I been christened already?
Every luxury that money can buy, including christening, and not even lavished on you by your fond and doting parents.
So I was christened, that's settled. But what name was I given? Let me know the worst.
Being the eldest, you are naturally christened after your father.
But what was my father's Christian name?
I cannot at the present moment recall what the General's Christian name was, but I have no doubt that he had one. He was eccentric, I admit, but only in later years, and that was the result of the Indian climate and marriage and indigestion and things of that sort.
Algy, can't you recollect what our father's Christian name was?
My dear fellow, he died before I was a year old. We were never even on speaking terms.
But his name would appear in the honour list of the period, I suppose, Aunt Augusta.
The General was essentially a man of peace, except in his domestic life, but I have no doubt that his name would appear in any military directory at the time.
The army lists for the last 40 years are here. These delightful records should have been my prostate. Generals, Malum, Maxborough, Magley, what ghastly names these have. Marksby, Ligsby, Mobbs, Moncrief, Lieutenant 1804, Captain Lieutenant Colonel, Colonel General 1869, Christian names, Earnest John. Gwendolyn, I've always told you my name was Earnest. It is Earnest after all, and naturally it is Earnest.
I do recall that the General was called Earnest. I knew I had some particular reason for disliking the name.
Earnest, my own Earnest! I knew from the first you could have no other name.
Gwendolyn, it's a terrible thing for a man to learn that for his whole life he's been speaking nothing but the truth. Can you forgive me?
I can, for I knew that you are sure to change.
My own one.
Letitia!
Bradley at last! Cecily at last! Gwendolyn at last!
My nephew, you seem to be displaying signs of triviality.
On the contrary, Aunt Augusta, I have realized for the first time in my life the vital importance of being earnest.
This orthodox creeping is too tame for me. This wild, rebellious nature of mine.
Where there is no extravagance, there is no love, and where there is no love, there is no understanding.
The duty of art is to comprehend the world, not to make it better. It examines not what ought to be, but what is. It is the possession of real wisdom, not the love of wisdom.
The wise contradict themselves.
And so, indeed, I went out, and so I lived.
Be yourself, everyone else is taken.
Somehow or other, I'll be famous, and if not famous, notorious.
The truth is rarely pure and never simple.
My weakness is that I do what I will and get what I want.
Whenever a community or government of any kind attempts to dictate to the artist what he is to do,
Art either entirely vanishes, degenerates, becomes stereotyped into a low and ignoble form of craft.
The secret of life is art.
Art is a spiritual ministry.
It can raise and sanctify everything it touches.
Art is what makes the life of each citizen a sacrament.
Art makes the life of the whole race immortal.
a new history of the world with the promise of the brotherhood of man.
Of peace rather than war, of new imagination and beauty. We are all in the gutter, but some of us are looking at the stars.
The world eventually turned against Oscar, auctioned his beautiful things, censored his work, attempted to erase him completely. For it wasn't just his characters who led double lives. Oscar, he loved too much, he loved too many. But they cannot erase him, you see. He shined too bright, and here we are celebrating him tonight.
Each man kills the thing he loves. The kindest use a knife, because the dead so soon grow cold.
We remember his appreciation for beauty, his muses, his professional beauties that inspired his work. We remember his wit, his incomparable ability to jest and to speak the truth despite the risk.
For man's grim justice goes its way and will not swerve aside.
We remember his courage to stand up proud in the face of critics that slandered him and the law that condemned him. He continued to live his truth and never hid who he was.
Yes, I am a dreamer. For a dreamer is one who can find his way only by moonlight, and his punishment is that he sees the dawn before the rest of the world. We are all in the gutter,
but some of us are looking at stars.
We see death as mighty lord of all, and king and clown to ash and dust must fall.
This is a comedy, Mother. Really? Come back, everyone. Come out. Tonight, we must celebrate. We must live. To live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people exist. That is all. But let us live and let us dance. Music, music.
One moment, please. Technical difficulties.
Okay, so we have some flowers. I'm still method acting. There's some special people. Are these the seniors? Seniors? I'm just gonna go with these are the senior flowers. Okay, I'm just gonna go in order.
Woo!
Okay, which flower do you want, darling? Okay, the yellow. Abina is usually in our shows because she's just a little singer and dancer, this little actor. But today she decided she wanted to be a stage crew, which is fine, I guess. But we love you so much! Oh, she's so cute! We love her! She's so talented! And Olivia, she is definitely stage crew. But you know what? That's okay, girl, because she eats every time. So we love you so much. And we're so proud of all of you. Do you want to, like, I don't know, vow or something? I don't know. Do something. What we're doing? Well, next year, the big flowers. So you just be ready, girl. Be ready.
Okay, we have some flowers from some people that have been very helpful with our show. First, we'd like to welcome Miss McAllister, our director.
These flowers are for our wonderful vocal coach, Miss Sherman. She helps for months with these same notes every time that none of us can seem to get right, but she tries.
And she's actually British. Next, I have to do my actual best favorite girl in the world. She is our perfect dance teacher, and she's in our show now, which is such a special treat. Have you ever been in a show like this heavily with all of us?
As like it.
Oh, there you go. But now I have lady corner on stage. It's always a treat.
And our wonderful technical director, Mr. Beasley. Okay, and then
Okay, next we have Shannon. Is she still up there?
I think she refuses to come down. But
Are you waving? Is that you waving? I can't tell.
Okay, she's still upstairs.
She does say
But
and she will get these later, which is amazing.
as someone who's been a stage manager with 4 other stage managers, and that was hard, she did it herself with about 2 weeks' notice. And she did such a great job, and she had a ton of jobs, and she worked very hard, and is a big reason why the show went as well as it did. So.
Our lighting director, Jaden, are you here anywhere? No, but he did an amazing job. So, yeah, thank you to everyone who involved. Thank you to you all for showing up. It means a lot to us, and hopefully you will come back and watch many of these beautiful actresses in another show. So, thank you very much.